Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. Now, these are both half-terabyte models. I've got one in gray, one in cream. This one is mine, the other is my wife's. These were both pre-ordered on announcement day, the Unpacked event. So if you too pre-ordered your Fold 5 or Flip 5 or your Tab S9, Ultra or otherwise, you likely will be getting it very soon if you haven't already. With that out of the way, the reason I didn't go for the 1 terabyte model this year is simply because I only ended up using about 380 gigs of storage on my 1 terabyte model. So I guess had Samsung given us 16 gigs of RAM rather than 12, I probably would have been apt to pony up the extra money. But for the extra storage, even though we do not have a micro SD card slot on either or any folding device on the planet right now, at least from Samsung, I still think the 512 is the sweet spot, and certainly from a pricing standpoint at $17.99, hard to beat. So what is new with the Fold 5? Well, actually not that much, but is that really the case? Because while many people are saying that nothing is really new, I will tell you right now, we do, of course, have the benefit of having a brand new hinge. So yes, we got a spec bump, of course, with a new processor, the Snapdragon Gen 8. But, you know, despite having, the 8 Gen 2, wow, okay, I don't think the last one was back first, so this is a new look for the unboxing. But outside of getting that new processor and much brighter displays, the internal display I think is like 30% brighter. It tops out at 1750 nits now. And don't get me wrong, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is definitely an improvement from the previous gen. I'm expecting better battery life, even though we have the same battery, 4,400 milliamp hours. Of course, brighter displays that can eat more of that battery, but I'm expecting better optimization across the board. There are new software improvements as well, but really the screen brightness and the hinge are what you should be focused on. So one of the things I love about the Z Fold lineup is that now I'm using, of course, the Pixel Fold. I have been for, I don't know, we're going on 3 weeks, and it's really nice, but it's very heavy compared to the Fold 4 or 5. So that's something you should be aware of, and that does affect usability. A comparison will come because I just got this phone, but let's see and feel that new hinge, okay? So I'm going to just close it right now. There's already a big difference, and there you see that gray back, which I dig, so I'm glad I ordered it. I did not see it in person. Nice to have something a little bit different, no question about it. I like the two-tone finish. It looks good. It's a sharp phone, but what we're really looking at here is that hinge, because now we're practically almost flush. There's still a little bit of a gap. The Pixel Fold that I'm using right now as my daily driver also has a basically flush design. Now, some people may think this was the real improvement. I don't really care that it had that crease, the gap. What I care about is durability. And every time Samsung refreshes their hinge design, they claim we're getting a more durable product. So let's hope that that is actually the case, because I have 2 years of hardware failures under my belt, and I can't even remember the last time I had a hardware failure. So while I've been praising Samsung's durability with these devices, there's no question that I do not want to see another hardware failure if I opt to keep this phone, which I'm not sure that I will. Again, I really like the Pixel Fold. It's not perfect. This phone, I don't imagine, will be either, but we'll see over the course of probably the next week. I'll be able to make my decision. So fingerprint scanner, volume rocker, and then, of course, our SIM slot. And then we come to the bottom of the device. We have our Type-C port, speakers, microphone, up at the top, more speakers, more microphones, and we have a front-facing camera right there, which is a 10 megapixel camera. Then we have the under display camera right there, which is a 4 megapixel camera. And then on the back, we have, of course, the 50, 12, and 10 megapixel, the 50 being the ultra wide, the 12 being, the 12 being, I believe, the telephoto, and then the 10 being the wide angle. So pretty much the same camera. Samsung is claiming better performance because of the new processor, and that's probably real. It's probably true. I do miss this form factor. For all the people that complain, I won't say periodically, almost all the time, about the front screen on this device being too small, I feel like they've never used a folding phone. And if they used it and they felt it was too small, I get it. But if you've never used a folding device, you probably aren't thinking about how that front screen impacts the usability of the unfolded interior screen, which in my opinion is what you're buying the device for. This is the secondary, not primary display. Let's get that straight. So moving right along, I'm going to place this down and let's get the cream colored version. I still don't know why Sammy put that blue on there. Anyone wants to chime in the comments, go for it. Let's take a look at what the cream color looks like. I imagine it's going to look a lot like last year. And I'm curious if all of you upgraded or took a pass on this. I completely understand taking a pass, but if you want to stay current, if you want to make sure that these devices are much more affordable, you got to stay in the upgrade loop. I have no other way of putting it, because by staying in the upgrade loop, these phones are affordable. So, if I end up keeping this, I'll be trading in my Fold 3 that I just picked up as a backup for $800 US. My wife traded in, will be trading in her Fold 4 for $1,000. So that effectively brings this phone to $799 before tax. If you're going to stay in the loop of always upgrading, these phones are less expensive than regular flagship phones. So just take that into account. Let's go ahead and reveal the beige here. And for those of you wondering, my Tab S9 Ultra also arrived today, so I will be sharing an unboxing and first look of that device as well, which, much like these, very similar, nearly identical to the Tab 8 Ultra that I own, but water resistance has been added to that, and we also now have the nicety of what is supposedly an improved keyboard. I'm not jumping on that one for $350 retail, but there you have it side by side, again, with my gray version. So this year, the wife and I do not have matching folds if I keep this. She's likely going to keep this. I don't see her not. Even though, again, the upgrade isn't huge, it is still an upgrade. And I do anticipate better overall performance. Again, software improvement. The new S Pen, I will be covering cases for these as well. I'm excited about that. But these are sharp-looking phones, people. I like the design. The fact that the phone is a little bit thinner is a good thing. But again, I'm betting on durability. And then the other big thing is, as I've mentioned, screen brightness. We still only have an IPX8 rating, so no dust resistance on these phones, just like the Pixel Fold. And it looks like I'm going to have to charge these because neither are... Oh, mine just powered up. My wife's did not. Let me hit it one more time. And I'll look if there's anything else in the box. I'm assuming we got a charging cable, but I'm not positive. Let's see if we even did. It doesn't look like we did. And I should remember that if there was an announcement that they were... I know they don't give us bricks anymore, right? So we do still get a charging cable. There you have it. And a SIM ejector tool. And that's about it. I'm not going to really get into too much else in here. But I'm excited to finally test this out. I like the color scheme. Display looks good. One thing I will tell you initially, right now, immediately, that I noticed with the hinge difference is that the Fold 4 hinge, every time I would open and close the device, it sounded like they had stuck a diaper in there, for lack of a better way of putting it. And if you watched any of my Fold 4 coverage last year, you know I pointed that out. Now, we're back to a completely smooth hinge. So if this is the improvement that I think it could be, this is probably going to be a game-changing generation, even though everyone and their mother, brother, sister, uncle, husband, whatever, believes that this was the least impressive upgrade. Yeah, there were no new bells and whistles, but if they fixed a hinge that had problems they were not honest with us about, that's a really big deal. So I will keep all of you posted. Stay tuned for updates. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.